And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Freshwater Fly. Now, I'm not a fisherman. I don't pretend to be one. I know a lot of people who do like to fish, and they would scorn the fact if I even pretended. In fact, the last time I fished was probably 30 years ago. And it wasn't fresh, it wasn't fly fishing. It was just normal, put a hook on something and throw it in the water and try not to hook my brother in the neck. However, the idea of fishing is interesting. This is the second fishing game, actually, from Bellwether Games. The first water was Cold Water Crown, a game which, unfortunately, I've never had a chance to play, but I was very eager. I do want to get around to playing that, and when this one came out, I said, I want to try this out, because I like the idea of the theme, and if there's one thing about Bellwether Games, I know that they do a really good job at attaching theme to their games. So let's take a look and see how this one plays. Before I start, for some reason, the Freshwater Fly copy I got is in German. Now, this isn't a big deal. The rules were in English, so that's good. But all the names of the fish are in German, and the reference card was in German. It still was fairly easy to play the game, but I thought I'd point it out in case you're wondering why you don't understand the name of these fish. Players are going to be trying to score points for fish. This shows you the point value of the fish here in the top corner. You don't know that necessarily when you're looking for fish. And players themselves will get bonus points for different markers and fish that they collect over the course of the game. And it's possible that some of these rock cards will give you more bonus points. The game's going to take place using these dice. You're going to have a certain number of dice depending on the number of players. So let's say it's a 4-player game. You're going to roll these dice, and then in player turn order, each person's going to draft a dice and do something with that dice. There are 3 things you can do with the dice. One of the things that you can do, no matter what the die number is, you can always increase your finesse up by 2. You can go up to 4 total with your finesse, and you'll be able to use your finesse for bonus actions. But the main actions you're probably going to want to do are to cast and try to catch a fish, and then reel the fish in. So when you cast to try to catch a fish, the first thing you'll do is, so let's say I pick 4 using this. I'm going to cast. That means I'm going to cast in row 4. I can try to capture this fish or this one here. Now, I can't even try to catch one unless I have a lure that matches the color of one of these tokens here at the bottom. They're randomly placed out there. So I knew this was going to happen. So at the beginning of the game, you pick one. I took a green lure, so I can. So I decided I'm going to catch the cutthroat fish. In this case, we're going to take these 4 cards, shuffle them up, and I'm going to draw one. Did I catch the fish? I did not. I had a 1 out of 4 chance of getting that. No worries. So I didn't catch that one, so now I'm going to let it drift farther downstream. So I'm going to let it drift to the steelhead fish here. And when you drift, I'm going to look, is there still a token that matches my lure? Yes, it's green. Now I get to draw 2. So whenever you let it drift, the fish is more interested in jumping at it. So if I had really wanted this fish, I might have even taken a 5, said I can't catch it on the first one, I don't draw any cards. I would let it drift to draw 2 on the second one. As it is, I do that, I flip over 2 cards, and I've caught the fish. So there's 4 cards. I could let it drift again if I had failed there, and then I could have drawn 2 more cards because there's green. So I knew what I was doing here, took it and made it so it drift downwards. I knew I was going to catch a fish somewhere along the line. But this is the fish that I caught, so now I'm going to turn the fish over, and I have to reel it in. If you catch a fish next to a rock, and we'll show you here, you'll get the rock card, and this is basically a future bonus action that you can do. This one costs 2 finesse, but lets you change a die to a die of your choice, and there's all sorts of rock cards that you can get. Some of them will give you bonus points at the end of the game, like that one does, and sometimes they'll just give you a special action. Once you catch a fish, you'll notice there's 3 types of fish. The green, the gray, and the gold. This one gets put into the gray one, and now, before I can catch another fish, I gotta reel this one in. When reeling a fish in, the first thing I got to do is look at the drag of the fish. The fish here is a 2. So if, for example, the next time I draft a die and I take a 3 to reel the fish in, I'm going to do 3 minus 2 is 1, and I'm going to only move this token 1. By the way, I'm going to be taking this token off the board that I used to catch the fish, which was a green one, and this will help me move this around. So 1 isn't so great. I have to get this all the way around and then this will slide over once to the green, then get it all the way around again, and then I've caught the fish. So you can see yellow fish will take longer to catch than gray fish and blue fish. But of course, that's noticed in the points. You'll notice that this fish here, the yellow fish, is a 7. This one's a 4, while the green fish here would be worth only 1 point. However, the good news is, after you move this, you get to take the action of whichever space you've moved it to. And the action that I've moved it to in this case is going to let me put my drag token on top of this. So now the steelhead's drag is 0. So the next time I draft a die, let's say I draft a 4 next time, then I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. I'm slowly reeling it in. If I go here, I can take a momentum token. These are tokens at the top of the board. There's all different momentum tokens, and they're going to be free actions I can use in the future. So for example, this one lets me take 1 finesse and lets me catch a fish in the 4 column. However, if I already have a momentum token and I got another one, I can flip this over and it becomes an even better thing. It also will let me switch out my lure. And it would be neat to switch out my lure because then I have a chance to catch other fish. If I move here, I get a finesse, and if I go here and I'm trying to catch a yellow fish, it moves back. If I'm trying to catch a blue fish, it moves forward. So that's what you're basically doing. You're going to be casting, trying to catch fish, and then reeling them in. Now you have bonus actions you can use. I already mentioned these there's momentum actions that you can use. Like this one just gives you 3 finesse, and this one lets you change out your lure, etc. But you also have finesse that you can spend. This is other bonus actions that you can use. You can, for 1 finesse, you can take any action of whatever color you're in. So for example, if I'm in here, I can place this token. If I hadn't placed it on there, I could place it on there for 1, moving it down. I can change my lure for 1 if I'm in this section. And no matter what section I'm in, I can add or subtract 1 from a die. I can move one of these tokens on the board, or I can add 1 when I'm trying to catch a fish. Take an extra card. So there's 4 cards. I might only pull 3 of them. I want that 4th card. I'm going to use this here. That's pretty much it. When all the dice are gone, whoever took the lowest total of dice will go first the next round. One of these comes off the board. These all slide down. This is put on here. This gets put at the end, and you'll pull more tokens out of the bag to put on top of it. And you'll keep going. When one person catches 7 fish, the game is going to end, and you'll add up points like I showed you earlier based on fish, based on what's on your bonus board, based up here. For every set of 3 different colors, you get 3 points. The first person to get all 7 fish will get 2 points, etc. Whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. Components for this game are pretty cool. These colors here, putting it in here and moving this around, the finesse token, the fish themselves. It's interesting that they have, the cards are super good quality, by the way. The fish all look great. The numbers on the back are pretty simple. How many points and how much drag do they have? There's not a lot of different options on there. It's pretty much straightforward. There is a reference card. Again, I'm not quite sure how it would probably be a lot easier if I had the English version, but for the most part I was pretty happy. There's this giant token here to show what fish you're casting. The dice here are super great quality. The whole thing just looks really good, and it's obvious that someone who knows what they're talking about was consulted in this game because the theme definitely fits. Well, there's a lot of good concepts in here. I like dice drafting. I like using the dice to do things. Obviously, higher dice are better in this game, hands down. Sometimes you want a lower dice because you're trying to catch a fish in a certain spot, but when reeling the fish in, you definitely want the highest one. Almost always. Sometimes you want to land on a specific spot or what have you. But for the most part, higher dice are better, but at the end of the round, whoever has the lowest total gets to go first the next round. So it really kind of evens out. The game is pretty simple. The fish, they fall down. The river, more fish are coming out. You're trying to catch them. When you catch it, you reel it in. Different lures attract different kinds of fish. All that stuff makes sense. The end game scoring is probably the least thematic. Oh, I got 3 different fish or whatever. I'm pretty sure if I brought home a string of fish, that was a lot of fish. People would be pretty happy with that regardless of what I got. But it doesn't matter. That's necessary for a game. But strong theme. I've never done fly fishing, like I said, but this game certainly brings that around. Here's my concerns with the game, and here's what keeps me from saying approved. I think some people are going to like this a lot. I don't know that I'm one of them. I don't dislike it either. It's fine. but it does feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again. I shouldn't say it feels like it. You are. You cast, you pull, done. Cast, pull, done. Cast, pull, done. The winner is the first person to do that 7 times. And so you draft some dice, and there's not a lot of difference there. There's some really clever ideas here. Throw out the fish, let your hook go down, catch it, okay, then pull it in. But you're kind of doing the same thing. It's not like, what cool decision will I make with the die this turn? No, if I already have a fish on my line, I have 2 decisions. Take 2 finesse or try to reel the fish in. And if I haven't reeled the fish in, guess what I'm going to do next turn? I'm going to take 2 finesse, probably not, and reel the fish in. And keep doing until I get the fish in. Then what am I going to do? I'm going to cast. And that's fine. Like I said, it's strongly thematic, but it doesn't give me a lot of options strategically. I'm like, oh, I will do this. You have these tactical choices, these things that you can do right here, right now. You have choices of which fish you're going to get. You can try to catch a fish next to a rock, and you can try to go for specific fish because of endgame scoring. Don't get me wrong, there are different variations in the game, but it still felt a little bit constrained. Can you do the same thing over and over and over again? That is thematic. That much I remember about fishing. You stand there and do the same thing over and over again. That doesn't appeal to me, although it does appeal to some. So really, I think if freshwater fish, it says on here 40 to 90 minutes. I feel like if it was 40, I would like the game a lot more. But it does turn out to be closer to 70 to 90 minutes, especially when playing with the full player count. Cool concepts, great production, great theming. I can't even look at this and say it's a bad game. It's just that I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. It felt kind of like a wash, rinse, repeat with a very narrow focus. And while that's interesting for a bit, I wanted a few more options, and the game didn't really provide those. The most it did was when can you use your finesse options and momentum. That's all cool and well. And again, they're kind of doing the same thing. So I still got to give it. I think there's a lot of people out there that are really going to enjoy this. And it really is a good product, Freshwater Fly. Dice Tower Judgment, strongly thematic, just a little bit of the same thing over and over.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.